All right, what's up, everybody? Brian here, and this is my thoughts on last Thursday night's episode of Impact. I know I didn't do this video yesterday, but I thought I'd give my thoughts on what I thought of last Thursday night's episode of Impact Wrestling. My thoughts on the show, uh, I thought it was pretty good. They've been really improving. There have been some episodes that are better than others, but I think that they're really improving as far as storyline wise. One of the big storylines, or one of the big questions going into last Thursday night's Impact was what would be the fate of Sami Callihan after his attack on Don Callis um, recently in Toronto at a show where Don Callis received an award. I believe it was for a Comeback of the Year award or something like that. Um, Basically, what happened, Don Callis was in the ring receiving the award. Sami Callihan came out, interrupted, attacked Don Callis, beat him up, hit him with the baseball bat, busted him open, choked him. That was pretty much it. Um, all because of what Don Callis did back at WrestleCon when Sami Callihan tried to end the career of Eddie Edwards in that I Quit match where Don Callis had to throw in the towel to end the match. And that was basically why Sami Callihan went after him. Uh, so like I said, one of the questions heading into last Thursday's episode was, what would be the fate? What consequence would Sami Callihan face? And he was almost fired, but it was Eddie Edwards who came in and basically told management, listen, don't fire him. Don't fire him. That he still has some unfinished business with him for what he did a few months back when he caused a serious eye injury to Eddie Edwards. And management told Eddie Edwards, listen, fine, he stays, but if you're going to go after him, you don't do it here. So basically, this storyline is very intriguing. This feud between Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan has gotten to the point where Impact is like, you know what? We're wiping our we're wiping our hands clean of this situation. You do whatever you want to do to him. Just don't do it here. So that was one interesting one question that got answered on last Thursday's episode of Impact. Like I said, I like this feud with Sami and Eddie. I think it kind of reminds me of the Tommy Dreamer Raven feud way back when in ECW. Um, but it's going to be intriguing to see where this ends up, how far where this ends, and stuff like that between these two. We saw a couple of matches. One was DJZ and Andrew Everett. Their new tag team name is Z and E. They took on LAX, who were looking for a big win after after losing the tag team championships to Scott Steiner and Eli Drake at Redemption. LAX has been on a bit of a losing streak recently, and it continued this past Thursday night when DJZ and Andrew Everett defeated LAX. After countering the street sweeper, clean sweeper, double team finishing move of LAX and pinned them 1-2-3. So next week they get a huge opportunity, that being Z and E, as they'll be challenging for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships against Eli Drake and Scott Steiner. So that is a huge match set for next week. We also found out that next week Tessa Blanchard makes her Impact Wrestling in-ring debut. She'll be taking on Kiera Hogan, who these two have been they've been in a little bit of a feud ever since Tessa Blanchard made her Impact debut back at Redemption a couple of weeks ago, or it was a couple of weeks ago. So that'll be interesting to see what happens in that one. We saw a clip of a match from House of Hardcore with Moose and Congo Kong, where Congo Kong got disqualified. Jimmy Jacobs hit Moose in the back with a chair, and that's what caused the disqualification. The way they had set that match up, I didn't know that it was going to have. They were going to have it from House of Hardcore. I thought it was going to be on Impact, but it is what it is. What else? We saw. Speaking of, I talked about Eli Drake earlier. He cashed in his world title shot case against Pentagon Jr. this past Thursday night, and received a championship match last Thursday night against Pentagon. In what I thought was a pretty good match, but I don't know about you guys, but it seemed a little short to me as far as the match time wise. And plus, they had built up. Oh, Eli Drake he can pick his moment, he can pick his chance to cash in, and then it's like he loses. So I thought that was a waste of time as far as his cashing in. Pentagon won with the Pentagon Driver, just like he did at Redemption when he won the championship. He retained it on last Thursday's episode over Eli Drake with the Pentagon Driver. Austin Aries was watching backstage. He had a vested interest in that match to see, as far as a future world title shot. What else? We saw El Hijo del Fantasma become number one contender to the X Division Championship. He won a four-way match with defeating Aerostar, Taiji Ishimori, and Drago. So that was pretty interesting. That was one of the matches I thought was another match I thought was pretty good. Phantasma won with the Thrill of the Kill, I believe it was the name of his finishing move is. That version of a tombstone pile driver where he hooks the legs and then drops down and then pins his opponent. So that was interesting to see. So big opportunity for Phantasma coming up at that X Division Championship, currently held by Matt Sydal. We saw Grado in action. He took on Rohit Raju. And what was not that good of a match. It was not that great. So Grado picked up the win. Grado actually has what is her name? Katarina Lee, I think her name is, or Katarina Waters, as his manager now, and his girlfriend now on Impact. Of course, Katarina used to be with Impact as Winter. She also competed for the WWE when she was Katie Lee Burchill. So interesting dynamic there. We saw, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, Joseph Park, the latest victim of an attack by an unknown person. Who knows who this is going to turn out to be? Hopefully, it's somebody good that they're actually. Maybe there's somebody they're going to bring in. Who knows? But hopefully, it leads whoever this person is that's been attacking all these people backstage. Turns out to be somebody good and believable. And what else? We saw a backstage thing with Allie receiving a voodoo, like a doll with some kind of with something with a note attached to it. They didn't show what the note said. Of course, Allie in that segment as well was thinking about what happened to Rosemary last week, where Rosemary was put in a coffin by Sue Young. What else? There was something else. I'm trying to think what else was. We saw another funny segment involving Fallah Bahh and KM, where KM has been trying to be a mentor or something like that to Fallah Bahh. He had him running outside barefooted on the running outside, running up the stairs in the impact in the running up the stairs of the where the crowd sits. Um, it was empty. It was the arena thing was empty, but they showed a clip of it, of Fallah Bahh running up and down the stairs. Well, KM was eating looked like an ice cream cone or something like that. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I think that was about it. I don't think I'm missing anything that I can think of. But yeah, I thought last Thursday's episode was a solid show. I thought it was pretty good. I thought last week though was a little bit better, but it is what it is. But I think they're really improving. So I cannot wait to see what happens next week on Impact as far as the matches that were announced, and see how far what is going to happen next as far as storyline as going on in Impact Wrestling right now. So with that being said, my overall thoughts, like I said, I thought last Thursday's episode was actually pretty good. Not compared to last week, but I thought it was pretty good in the long run. So with that being said, if you guys watched last Thursday's episode of Impact Wrestling, let me know what you guys thought of it on the in the comments below. Once again, I apologize. I did not make this video yesterday, but I thought I'd give my thoughts today. So with that being said, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.